I'm beginning to really see that when I hold on to things, memories and old beliefs and tough situations and emotions in my body, that I hold on to things in my body. When I hold on to things in my body, I hold on to things in my body. And what I mean is, the last couple mornings, I have passed parasites, and I stopped doing a parasite cleanse a couple months ago, and in fact have been pretty kind of easy and lax on my, like on any kind of protocol, because, there's a time of rest after any cleanse or in between, protocols and doing things to be healthier. So I have seen parasites coming out, and I am feeling like I'm getting things out. And so I was writing in my journal this morning, not about that, about other things. And I started writing about the therapy session that I had with my somatic therapist 2 days ago. And somatic therapy is when you talk, it's talk therapy is part of it. But then she'll notice that things are going on in my body as I'm talking to her about whatever we're talking about. And she'll have me stop, and we'll process those emotions through my body. And I think, excuse me, probably a lot of us who are watching this episode or watching this channel are already kind of in alignment with the fact that we hold emotions and things. We store, beliefs and difficult situations and difficult emotions in our bodies. But it's a different thing to know that conceptually and to feel it or experience it, right? So with this therapy session that I had, I brought up something that happened in my life a few months ago that wasn't really, I even said to her, this isn't taking up a lot of brain space for me. It's not something I've been stressing about. But it was something that I wanted to bring up because I think for other people, this could have been a stressful thing. So it was I'm not really upset about this situation, but let's talk about it and see if there's something there. And as we started talking about it, I started having an emotional reaction to it, and I got kind of teary-eyed, and she asked me to, where do I feel it in my body? I could kind of feel it in my chest, in my pelvis. I was noticing my clenching my pelvic muscles, and we worked through it. And in fact, she was like, I want to, revisit this for a few more sessions probably, because there's a lot of, because I was connecting emotions from that event to other things in my life. So we're going to work through all of that. I'm very excited about it. But this session, that had me begin to process something that wasn't even on my radar that it was affecting me, I think has allowed me to release some more parasites and maybe other stuff, in my feces that I don't even know, because I really feel like I'm letting go of things, and I can see it in the toilet. So that had me thinking about our bodies, and the kind of the emotional part of letting things go and unblocking ourselves. And I'm thinking about people who I've been working with to, improve their health symptoms and my own experiences. And I realized that, so much of allowing ourselves to let these things go is actually being connected to our bodies. Yeah, actually being connected to our bodies. How often are we I mean, just for myself, like I was searching so much for an answer from somebody else, like my focus was so external for so long. And I'm thinking now about the people that I'm working with, and even just myself, and it's like, are we touching our bodies? Are we having conversations with ourselves and our bodies? Are we listening to see what it's saying? I notice in my own life where I avoid being intimate with myself. Like, can you hang out with yourself? And in fact, like, gosh, this made me start thinking about years ago when I had separated from my partner at the time, and I was living on my own. And for the first time in my life, I was like 37 years old, 36 years old. For the first time in my life, I was hanging out with myself. Like I wasn't needing to, I had lived by myself before, but I was always busy. And even when I was home, it was like I was just like watching TV, or like I wasn't hanging out with myself. I didn't have projects that I was doing with myself. And when I separated from my partner when I was 36, just turned 36, I just started doing all these things with myself. And I would go and have dates with myself, and I would put on a dress, and I didn't call them that at the time. It was just like, I want to feel pretty and I want to get out of the house. And I would bring like a whole bag of like my journal and my book and maybe some like watercolors. And I would bring all these things with me because it was like a podcast episode that I wanted to listen to. So I'd bring my earbuds. Like, what do I want to do with myself? And I would just go hang out with myself and do these things with myself. I had little research projects, mostly health stuff, that I was working on. And then, so I'm thinking about how different my life is now than it was before. So the last like 5 years than it was before, because before I just didn't spend time with myself. And curiously, over the last 5 years, my health has steadily gotten better and better. And I've become more and more attuned to what's going on with my body and in my heart and in my mind. So yeah, I think about also where I'm doing that. So I'm thinking now about where I'm doing that in my body. Like, are there parts of my body that I really don't take any time to look at? Or to ask it if it's how it's feeling, Or am I connected with my womb and my stomach? Am I, pleasuring myself? These are all things that I think it's very easy for us to avoid, or most of us at some point in our lives, we're avoiding these things, either avoiding spending time with ourselves, like I realized that I wasn't doing at 36 years old, and taking ourselves on dates and having plans together, or we're not pleasuring ourselves, sexually, or we're not listening to our bodies, or we're afraid to touch ourselves. I've seen some of my, clients, patients, friends who I've been working on getting better with, feeling better, resist certain very simple therapies and I think it's because it's like you have to spend time with yourself. And you have to touch yourself. Some of the best things that we can do to avoid chronic illness and to keep things moving and to keep ourselves healthy is touch ourselves. So massage, castor oil massage, which you can create a whole ceremony around, or it can just be, touching your abdomen and your belly. Breast massage for women, this is real live tissues. Our breasts are real live tissues. If you have sensitive breasts, or they're very sensitive around your period, or dense breasts, give yourself a self-care massage every day, as you lay down to go to sleep or when you take a shower. Touching ourselves is necessary and will also connect us back to ourselves. And as we connect back to ourselves, we'll see the parts of ourselves that maybe we've been avoiding. And as we see them and realize that there's nothing scary there, we will let go of more physically. Heavy metals, parasites. Yeah, so I can feel myself releasing stuff that needed to be released from my body, simply from addressing areas of my life that I didn't even know needed addressing. So this was a little bit of an impromptu episode today. I just had some beautiful realizations around that as I was journaling, and I will see you in the next episode.